So basically it's the addiction economy. I'm assuming what this is going to be about is how everything is meant to get us addicted and like stay attracted to it, especially technology and apps, which I want to watch this to see what he says, but I kind of know what he's going to say. And my opinion on it is, bro, yeah, this is getting out of hand. Like, it seems like every single app and like website is designed for you to stay on as long as possible, which is obvious, but it's getting to the point where they're like actually just like completely abusing like psychology and just like it feels like they're almost like abusing us. Like it TikTok, YouTube, and all those, like those are abusing us. And then you also have like things like casinos, obviously, but that's different. I'm more focused. I'm assuming it's going to talk more about technology, but I don't know. Maybe he'll talk about other things. I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, I guess shopping. It's like low prices. Well, that's not really an addiction. I don't know. Let's see.
Addiction. Look at everything around. The world runs on addiction.
I mean,
Look
yeah.
at everything around you. Kids vaping, people's backs bent over
Ah,
distract.
yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, also, by the way, I should mention video games are made to get you addicted. I mean, it's obvious. The problem is, like, I feel like I just want to say this before it starts. I know I'm like talking a lot, but like I just want to get everything off my chest before it starts, so I don't have like all this nonsense I'm saying. Basically, I feel like one, video games are addictive. People will claim they're not. I think they are, but that's a whole nother conversation. The main thing I want to talk about though is I feel like I've always said this is that there's no such thing as a life of full moderation. Someone out there, I mean, somewhere, everyone out there is addicted to at least one thing, whether they know it or not, or they'll admit it. For me, it's video games and YouTube. Um, for other people, it's probably TikTok, Instagram, but like everyone's addicted to something. Even the people who, work all the time, they're probably addicted to working. I mean, it's just addicted to making money. It's everyone has an addiction. I I believe that. I truly believe that. Living a life of moderation is impossible. It's just physically impossible.
Everybody isolating themselves from the nagging voice of consciousness with soundproofing headphones. Addicts on the streets struggling to stand. Bars and pubs filled with red-faced alcoholic droogs. Coffee shops
Jeez.
everywhere. 4 shots of espresso per cup. Lines.
Yeah, I don't want to get into coffee, by the way. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Coffee, I have only had it a couple times in my life, and especially like during because I started college, I've had it a couple times when like I wake up early. It definitely helps, but I don't want to rely on it because one, it's a lot of money for something that literally wakes you up, which is good. Obviously, it's good to like wake up, but like, bro, just get better sleep. I hate saying it, but it's true. If you get better sleep, you won't have to rely on coffee.
Out of the door. Everybody addicted to the chemical preservatives, sugar and fat stuffed into the
Yeah,
daily
that's
food of
true.
millions. Millions of young men trying to fill a hole of connection through OnlyFans and adult content. Whilst GDP in the S&P 500 might steadily be growing, the West's economic trajectory is running on a toxic fuel, creating a brand new phenomenon known as the addiction economy. The future of the Western world. But what
Yeah.
happens if this continues to spiral? Where do we go from here? Where everybody's counting their company points, subscriptions, getting their drip drip of dopamine from chains throughout the day? What happens when for the entire economy to function, everybody has to be addicted to products, points, dings, likes, and
Yeah, I feel like everything's just trying to get you. I think the problem is we live in a time where people don't really think about like we have so many free, especially technology, free apps and stuff that you can use. And the thing about it, I've said this before, but like there's no such thing as a free thing. No company is trying to, no company will ever try to give you something for free just because they want to. There's always an ulterior motive, and that's why it's risky using apps like, YouTube, Discord, all those, because you don't know what their intentions are. Like I don't, for example, Discord, bro, I use it all the time, but I have no clue besides Nitro. How else are they making their money? There's no way they're making a crap ton of money off Nitro. I don't know if that's true, but there's got to be something else. I don't know what it would be, but there's got to be something else that they're doing that's making the money. There's no way. I mean, I kind of want to see, but I don't know. That's just an example.
vape hits, when everybody is constantly being psychologically targeted with chemical subconscious manipulation, and our primal desires being controlled by faceless companies. What will that future entail? Well, this is the coming story of the West, and it's something we need to be paying far more attention to, which is why in this video you're going to soon realize that everything in your life.
Hey everyone, big heads up, Paleo Valley's running a sale on all their meat sticks right now. You can get 30 sticks for 30.
In all of your friends and family's lives, is slowly just becoming another part of the addiction economy. This is a brand new phenomena, and we're going to explore the future implications of this in the very near future, as this will soon be one of the major coming concerns for humanity. To understand why, we need to understand what is actually driving the addiction economy in the first place. Historian David Courtwright coined the term limbic capitalism. This was an early version of the idea of the addiction economy, as limbic capitalism refers to economic practices that target the brain's limbic system, which governs pleasure and reward. Because you see, addiction isn't limited.
Well, yeah. I mean, why would they not? I mean, you make the most money when people are happy. I mean, you'd want to spend, ideally, most people spend money to make themselves happy. They're making purchases that are good for them.
Limited to chemical substances. Behavioral addictions, such as those seen in gambling, gaming, and social media use, exploit the brain's reward system. This is basic stuff, and we're all pretty aware of this at this point. And people started to realize that if they can create products and experiences designed to hook users through constant repeated short bursts of dopamine, you would make far more money in the long run than just a single standalone purchase.
You know what's crazy? I just realized, if no one posted on Instagram, no one would use it. If no one posted on TikTok, people would stop using it. It's run purely off people. That's crazy to think about, mainly because if you really think about it, like, why did people just start using TikTok? Like, seriously, why? Why did people just start posting on there? Like, now that I think about why. I mean, Instagram, it makes more sense, but like TikTok, why do people start posting on there? I don't know. Like, in the beginning, I'm saying. I mean, obviously now people post on there just to, what's it called, get clips going so they can get more famous. It's obvious now, but in the beginning, there's really no reason to post on there at all. Who knows?
That's why companies in the last decade are doing everything they can to get you on some form of subscription, to ensure ongoing consumption and money for the business. And the tactics they often use, such as persuasive design and targeted marketing, actually replicate some psychological techniques used on.
I mean, yes, you know, like, for example, everyone talks about the subscriptions. When it comes to subscriptions, everyone talks about the gym membership, right? Which is a subscription. And everyone jokes about how, most gyms make it super hard to leave. Well, you know, a lot of companies do the same thing. Like, if you try to leave, like, I heard rumors that if you try to leave, like, Spotify Premium, I don't know why I'm struggling to speak, that, you know, they'll make you, like, a playlist that, like, guilt trips you, you know? It's things like that that's just, like, I feel like a lot of companies now are even taking advantage of you once you start trying to leave a subscription, and they'll be, like, trying to guilt trip you into coming back. Which I think is crazy, because it's like, bro, if I'm leaving, I'm leaving. I don't want to get tempted back into it. Also, I've even heard of a case, I don't know what company it was, that literally did this thing where when you tried to leave, they made it as hard as possible to leave by making the yes and no button opposite of each other and like switching it up. So it'd be like, are you sure you want to leave? And then switch up the yes or no and then do it like multiple times. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. I just heard about this.
Animals to train and domesticate them. And we can see this really clearly in the tech industry, as social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok are quintessential examples of the addiction economy at work. As users spend increasing amounts of time on these platforms, they become addicted to the attention and dopamine rush that come from likes, comments, and shares. This constant feedback loop fosters a reliance on external validation, which is of course highly addictive, and probably almost everybody watching this has experienced it at least once in their life. However, this attention-seeking behavior whilst rewarding in the digital realm can be really toxic in real life. In real-world interactions, the same behaviors in the digital realm.
Lifting challenge hip thrust. What does that even mean? Did he hip thrust his wife? Like, bro, or weird.
Life. However, this attention-seeking behavior.
What? How do you put a check mark for a squat for hip thrust? Okay, I'm focused on this because it's stupid.
Behavior, whilst rewarding in the digital realm, can be really toxic in real life. In real-world interactions, the same behaviors encouraged by social media can lead to shallow relationships and an unwillingness to accept other people's imperfections. People begin to judge and value others based on the superficial criteria used by platforms like Instagram, based on appearance and status. This shift in focus towards self-promotion comes at the expense of genuine connections with others and a broader awareness of the world around them. Alongside
Now, I've always said this, one of the problems with, social media is that now people think they can be influencers, but we're in a time now where people are starting to wake up to influencers and not. I don't know, recently I've seen a revolution, like Mr. Beast and all those, like all these influencers are getting like destroyed. Like, it seems like, I mean, obviously they're just bad people, but like I'm talking like, people are starting to wake up and realize like, hey, influencers are not good people and they're probably just doing everything for money. We shouldn't follow them, because the reason why influencers even really exist is because they have an influence on people somehow. I never understood that. Like, I'm never gonna be like, oh God, Dwayne the Rock Johnson bought a lotion. Oh man, I need a lotion to, have a fun time. Like, bro, not gonna do that.
these traits, other characteristics of narcissism, such as arrogance and a victim complex, start to manifest. And we see this on a cultural and societal level. We see it everywhere in the media all the time. Celebrities who are victims, arrogance everywhere, people who think they know everything. And this addiction to online validation explains why so many influencers and celebrities, billionaires, crypto bros, all of these people appear so self-absorbed and oblivious to their own actions. A classic example is when influencers get upset when they try and quote-unquote prank someone in public spaces. The addiction economy goes far beyond this stuff
Yeah,
in social media.
people are crazy with the pranks. It's actually absurd. Like, I don't know. I don't know. The amount of people who make content out of just normal people is ridiculous. Like, nowadays, it's like common for you to see street interviews. It's like, bro, like some of them are crazy. Like, people will be like going up to random people and be like, will you kiss me or tap my ass? It's like, bro, what? These are random people, bro. Like, I would hate to be in that situation. I'd hate it.
Beneath the surface of all these algorithms and social media companies lies a razor and blade business model. This is the idea where initial products are sold at a loss or low margin to secure long-term profit from consumables. It's basically how companies make you dependent on their products. In the tech world, companies run on a loss for years, all relying on investor money until they have you so sucked in that you have no choice but to give in to using their algorithm all the time. And so they can then charge the prices knowing that you're so addicted.
Okay, so my question is, why use Spotify Premium? I don't know. I use Apple Music first off, so should mention that before. But I do use I have used Spotify on my computer because there's no Apple Music really on Windows, right? So I have Spotify. And from my experience, yes, there's some ads, obviously, but honestly, I've never found a need to pay for it. I don't know why people see the need. Like, yeah, there's ads, but like, they're not that awful, and plus you can skip a lot of songs before ads pop up. So, yes, there's like usually 3 ads, which takes about 45 seconds to a minute, but like, bro, are we really, why would you pay for that? Like, I don't know. It's not that necessary. Maybe people are just like really upset. I don't know. I mean, I'd imagine like riding in the car and like having Spotify playing and getting ads. That's devastating, but who knows?
Addicted, you will pay no matter what. And if it's not prices, it's collecting your data, exploiting you, or making you more addicted to their algorithms with things like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. This is how they suck you in. But before, this used to be kind of contained just to the tech industry. But now this is emerging throughout the entire economy. From printing cartridges to coffee pods,
What?
Adobe, Spotify.
Oh, Adobe. Okay, I'll say this. I actually have Adobe products. It's a scam. They're high quality, don't get me wrong. They're high quality. There's lots of guides on how to use them. But bro, the amount of money you pay for something like Photoshop is absurd. And I don't even pay for it. Like, my parents pay for it, but I know how bad it is. It's absurd. So when I have to start paying for it, bro, I'm gonna pirate it, probably. I don't know. I don't even know how. The problem with Adobe, bro, is like for example, editing. Like, I edit all my videos on there, so now it's like, if I ever like got off the subscription service of Adobe, which by the way, the subscription service is high as hell a month for like a couple things. They know what they're doing, and no, the worst part is to me is like, what's it called? Like, if you try to leave, what are you gonna do with all those videos that you're not finished with, or like you're still editing, or if you want to come back to a video, how are you gonna edit them now? It's like, bro, you can't, because you're gone. So now you have to like re-edit stuff, or if you want to go back to a video, like now you have to like get a new program and re-edit. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Hotels, McDonald's, these are all using limbic capitalism, as they're all trying to transform your one-time purchase into ongoing revenue streams through points, rewards, boosts, and short bursts of dopamine. While they offer convenience and access to a wide range of products, all of these chains, all of these giant brands are making you dependent on their services. And then it becomes almost impossible to switch because you've already gained so much trust with that company, you've given over so much of your information, so much of your money, your time, your data, your points, that it's almost impossible to leave. The muscle memory and habitual
Well, like, for example, okay, Netflix, if you try to leave Netflix and you're like an active person, which I'm not, so I don't even have Netflix. I don't think I have Netflix anymore. I don't know. I used to use it for like a year. But like, you know, all your, you know, watch shows and recommendations are gone if you leave for just a month. So it's like leaving is so inconvenient for something like that too. That's the problem with subscription services. All your like your memories or like, you know, things that they'll remember for you, and it's just gone. It's crazy. I think it's a scam. I mean, obviously with Netflix, it's kind of hard to make it a one-time purchase because then they would lose money. But like, I don't know, for something like Adobe, it should be like here's a, you know, year-round payment. That's it. Or I don't know. I can't think of any other examples at the exact moment. But some of them don't need to be
nature of all of these
subscription
services creates a psychological dependency on their products. It could be Hilton hotel points, British Airways points, McDonald's points, Instagram likes, literally anything these days. Everything and anything is constantly pushing you to be addicted to their product. I mean, how many subscriptions do you actually have at this point? It's probably accrued so much over time that you've actually lost count. I mean, the average person in America now spends $273 a month on just subscriptions alone. And yet at the same time, less than 1/3 of Americans could afford a $1,000 emergency expense.
Yeah, I watched this show. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called like Financial Fraud. I think that's what it's called or something. Oh no, Financial Audit, right? So it's a show on YouTube. I'd recommend watching it. Basically, all these people submit themselves because they're in major debts. They have like way too little money. They're like got 10,000 plus money that they have to pay in debts, right? And they go on the show and the guy tells them how to, you know, fix their problems. I watch it because, you know, I just want to see what advice he gives, right? And a lot of the people who show up on the show tend to have a way too many problems with spending money on not only just incredible amount of subscription services, but just useless things. I think the problem with right now with Americans is that we live in an economy like, I mean, the addiction economy, obviously, so everything you purchase. But the other thing is just like, it's because of social media, it's like buying like expensive things and it's influenced on us. So I feel like a lot of people who definitely could have a lot of money choose to kind of not live that life and then not realize why they don't have a lot of money. I don't know. It's basically what I'm trying to say is basically I think a lot of Americans, if they cut out a lot of the unnecessary subscriptions, that they would definitely have a lot more money and this would not be a problem. Like 50% can't afford $1,000 emergency fund. That's horrible. Like all it takes is, oh wow, I have to go to the hospital. Now you're cooked. You literally can't afford that. Now what are you gonna do? I mean, that's horrible. And imagine if you have kids now too. Like now, if you have kids, you can't afford for them to go to college. I mean, you can't. Like, dude, this is absurd. Literally, all it takes is one accident. Oh, my car broke down. Oh, you're done. You're done. That's crazy. 50% of people can't afford to have a car breakdown. Like, things like that happen. You need to have an emergency fund.
Without going into debt. And this is where things start to get really interesting, because when you peel back the layers, you realize something else is going on here.
This is your brain.
Oh my
when you're
god, the ads
struggling
are
to
so
focus.
annoying.
And this is your brain when you're in the zone.
Yeah, shut up.
One of the worst things about the addiction economy is that the politicians who should be regulating this stuff are actually profiting from it. Just recently, Supreme Court Justice Alito saw Bud Light stock then bought Coors during the boycott. And I found this story thanks to Ground News, a website and app that is designed to dismantle echo chambers and show you the news that you might be missing. Go to ground.news/boom to check one source of the internet for now. Coverage of the scandal is by in the center. If you don't already know today's sponsor, Ground News does a course. If you're understanding,
I think I used this in high school before. I don't know.
But to truly understand where this goes and what are the repercussions of us living in an addiction economy, we need to take a quick look at Las Vegas, a petri dish city that was one of the first to experiment with this kind of economy. You see, the Las Vegas of today is run pretty much by a small handful of companies that own all of the hotels and casinos on the Strip.
Las Vegas has its city limits that stop at the beginning of the Strip, Sahara Avenue. Casino operators intentionally were outside the city. They didn't want to deal with city taxes and fees. Technically, when you're on the Strip, you are literally in paradise.
These faceless giant companies are usually offshoots of investment funds or mega chains from New York that are doing everything humanly possible to addict and exploit anyone who arrives in the city. It's a giant billion-dollar industry, an industry of casinos, entertainment, hookers, drugs, and alcohol. At the core of Las Vegas is gambling, an industry inherently—
Yeah, by the way, the only thing I know about Las Vegas is from New Vegas. If you ever played Fallout New Vegas, bro, like, that's like all I know about it. I don't even know if it's based off the actual Las Vegas. I would imagine it is. Who knows? Like, I don't know anything. I know obviously it's a gambling place, but I can't even go there because I'm not 21, so it doesn't even matter. Can't gamble. Well, I legally can gamble, just not there. I don't understand why. You know what? I'm not going there. I know he's probably gonna say, by the way, oh, they produce oxygen to make your brain blah blah blah, more stimulated or something. I don't remember what it was. Or oh, they like give you free drinks and stuff so you stay longer. Blah blah blah. Right? I know all this stuff. It's
linked to addiction. The design and operation of casinos in Las Vegas is meticulously crafted to maximize the time visitors spend gambling, thereby increasing the city's revenue.
These casinos pump extra oxygen in the building to keep you awake and keep you more alert. And again, this is one of their mini tricks to keep you gambling, to take more of your money.
Hey, at least I'm getting oxygen.
Plays a crucial role in this, as casinos are obviously designed to be immersive environments where you lose—
Yeah, slot machines are a scam. I don't know why you'd ever go to a slot machine. Problem with slot machines too is I've messed around with one before. I mean, it wasn't actually a slot machine, but it was very similar. At Dave & Buster's, and the amount of tickets I put into it was incredible. Like, I put so many tickets into it, and I never won the jackpot, and I was so close so many times. Because what it does is it basically, like, it does this thing where it, like, almost goes to jackpot, but they purposely make it so it doesn't. So you're always, like, see it, and you're thinking, oh my god, one more attempt and I'll get it. And you know that if you win big, but at the end of the day, you're probably gonna sit there and lose thousands of dollars and never actually win and think, well, more, and I might win, and then by the time you actually win, you probably lost profit at that point. So I don't know. Slot machines are not good. I never understood why you'd ever do that. Like poker, I mean, or blackjack even. It's like, I mean, you know, at least you're usually playing with other people. Not always with blackjack, but you know, poker. It's like at least you're having fun while you're doing it.
Complete track of time and become so engrossed in the gambling experience, you don't realize how much money you've actually spent. The absence of clocks and windows creates a sense of timelessness, encouraging you to play all day and night without ever realizing how long you've been sat there. And the use of lighting, colors, exciting sound effects creates this stimulating atmosphere that almost feels like a fairy tale.
Bonus frequency was good, the bonuses were fun, the graphics are beautiful.
What?
Line pays were good.
Graphics?
Music, I mean, there's a lot of people are saying it's a great game.
All of this is psychological manipulation and is tested in laboratories and on animals. Everything possible to addict you is being employed here. Even loyalty programs, where you can get various rewards such as free drinks and discounted stays, as well as complimentary meals, all makes you want to gamble more and spend more money at these hotels. These perks create a false sense of achievement and incentivize repeat visits, something that's all too familiar in the rest of the economy. And by doing this, they foster a loyal customer base that continually returns to gamble in Vegas, making it the 3rd most visited city in the US by tourists. And it not only increases the amount of money spent, but also ensures a steady stream of repeat customers. Each year, more and more is invested into this. The floor plans are designed to be labyrinth, making it so easy to be lost in a maze of gambling tables. Everywhere you walk, all the hotels...
Wait, so is that actually like... Nah, is this inside a building?
Easy to be lost.
Because that's a crazy cool building.
Tables. Everywhere you walk, all the hotels, shopping malls, everything you can think of is all connected by giant hallways of casinos. You're always surrounded by the sights, sounds, the intrigue of the hotels, all the entertainment, everything is there to keep you gambling. All the advanced algorithms, the psychological triggers, the intermittent reward systems create such a compelling cycle of addiction that most of these hotels are worth billions alone. Once you're in this disorientated, timeless, and dopamine-stimulated state of mind, the billion-dollar investment funds controlling this use all of their powers to unload a wave of other addictions at you at the same time to keep you in this unthinking stupor.
The world's direct to you. But by the way, nah, it's getting bad now because, bro, I'm on YouTube and sometimes it'll be just like, it'll appear in the corner of the screen, like, it'll be like, hot girl near you. Click here to find hot girls near you. I'm like, bro. Like, that's just, it's disgusting. Bro, that's not what I want.
From the minute you arrive at the airport, adverts for the biggest dispensaries in the world are shoved in your face. Brothels scattered around the city. And once you're actually in the strip itself, you're in one of the only areas in the whole of America where you can drink openly on the streets without issues. So once all your primal desires are satiated, and you've been put into a drunken high stupor, you'll find yourself in the Venus flytrap that is the strip. Bombarded with lights, mascots, icons, drugs, alcohol, and women, every single thing around you is designed to addict you. And once you're there, it's almost impossible to escape without spending a fortune. And of course, at the heart of this money-making machine is addiction. And it's working amazingly for Vegas. The economy there is booming. So what if you extrapolate this and implement it into every other facet of the wider economy? Well, this is what's happening today. You see, the reason Vegas is so economically successful for a handful of investors is exactly the same reason as the model of addiction replicated in all industries. Just like I mentioned before, and as is done in Vegas, subscriptions and point systems are one of the best ways to addict you on a constant basis. For instance, if Netflix were to become a one-time purchase product, it would cost at least $2,000 for the basic ad-free plan. However, by spreading it monthly, it makes the service far more palatable for consumers. Same with all the Apple products, same with cars, same with mortgages, everything's the same here. And investors love this because it makes businesses easier to operate and scale. There's very little fluctuations in income, and this predictability allows companies to plan their expenses more effectively and invest in growth without needing to keep large cash reserves to weather potential downturns. And this is why Americans are spending more and more on services that were once done and dusted purchases. But there's a much more shady side to this addiction economy, and we can see the issues of this most clearly.
Well, here's the thing too, if you're broke, I'll tell you this, you definitely can find places where you can find things for free. Even games, video games, you can pirate them. You can pirate movies, you can pirate, TV shows, anime. I know because I've known people who've done it. I don't remember the sites to be honest, but I know it's possible. 100% know it's possible. I've not done it before. I've had friends do it before, but I know it's possible. So if you're that broke, or you're having debt, don't be paying for subscription services. Yeah, it's more convenient to have a service, obviously, the real deal. But bro, if you're broke, you need to just pirate at that point. Just all you need to do is pay for a phone bill and the internet, and that obviously other stuff, but like those two things and you would be fine.
Clearly in the vaping industrial complex. You see, e-cigarettes and vapes were originally invented to help those who smoke give up the habit, or at the least allow them a hit of nicotine without the damage of smoking tobacco. But however good the initial intention, vaping soon became just another way of exploiting human addiction.
See, what I thought when they first came out, I thought they were called Juuls for some. I don't know if that was something else, but I feel like I remember when it was like the first came out, it was like they were advertised as no nicotine. But apparently they have nicotine. I'm confused because I don't understand how you can design a product that's supposed to get you off of cigarettes if it has nicotine. Nicotine is the reason why it's addicting. Like, bro, That's
As
bad
interest in sales
logic.
of vaping products took off, vape manufacturers such as Juul Labs, Enjoy and Blue began offering a range of nicotine-containing products in various flavors and formulations. Big tobacco companies such as Philip Morris International, British American Tobacco, and Japan Tobacco International all started to enter the market themselves, either through acquisitions, partnerships, or the development of their own vaping products. So what started out as a mission to get people off addiction became a new multi-billion-dollar addicting industry, all designed with colors, flavors, advertised as a healthier alternative, and oftentimes with far more nicotine, the substance that's actually getting you addicted in the first place. And a perfect example of the dangers of this can be seen with Josh Temple. You see, in the early 2010s,
By the way, I saw a video of this guy who purposely got addicted to vaping for, I think it was like 90 days, and then he tried to quit for 90 days after. And he, at first, did not like it, and then eventually he got really addicted. And he got so addicted to the point where he almost couldn't put it down, but he managed. But he had these most insane withdrawal symptoms, and like he was very unhappy. He was a worse person overall, and he found himself, you know, he was always constantly thinking about it to the point where he's constantly doing it, and he had to buy so many of them. Like, I was just like, bro, I hope I'll never ever get to a vape. Like, bro, anything nicotine, I hope I never get access to it. Well, I can have access to it, but just not use it, you know? Because otherwise, I'm cooked. I'm not trying to have an addiction like that, where my life is taken over by it.
a young actor named Josh Temple realized he wasn't going to be an actor, but he was starting to see that the potentiality of states legalizing weed in America was becoming a real possibility, and he wanted to be at the heart of this boom. So he decided to venture into the weed business, founding his own company Honeycut Labs. And from 2011 to 2018, Josh Temple immersed himself in the THC vaping scene, learning everything he could about the industry. And that was when he found the lucrative niche of THC cartridges. Realizing this was going to be a giant industry, Josh launched a product early on that would become infamous, the Honeycut Diluting Agent. You see, Honeycut's flagship product was a cutting agent designed to be mixed with THC oil and vape cartridges. It had no taste, no smell, and maintained the same viscosity as pure THC oil, making it indistinguishable from the real thing, primarily being made from vitamin E acetate. It was
What? Vitamin? Okay, I'm not gonna make fun of a man for saying vitamin, but you know, that's just his accent. It's what his culture does. You know, whatever.
great because you could dilute THC oil and increase profits significantly with this new agent. And so by 2019, with the legalization of cannabis, Josh's products were selling rapidly as demand for THC cartridges soared across the US. Competitors saw their success and began to flood the market with this stuff, all using the same vitamin E acetate and vape.
I never could understand why someone would put smoke in their body and think it's healthy. Like, how can you possibly pick up a cigarette, like an e-cigarette, and think this is healthier? No, bro, that's like picking up like a ton of sugar and being like, well, it's healthier than like a lot more than that. No, that's a bad example. More like, you know, like picking up like, I don't know, a donut and comparing it to eating a cake. Like, you know, obviously the donut is going to be less sugar than a cake, right? Well, hopefully. You know, but the point is like, you're comparing apples to oranges. Like, no, golly, that's not what I was... You're comparing apples to, like, large apples to smaller apples, basically. They're still apples. That was my point. I accidentally made horrible comparisons, by the way, but the point is, you know, I don't know how you could think I'm putting smoke in the body and this is going to be good. Because it's been proven that smoke in the body is just not good for your respiratory system. It doesn't matter what type of smoke it is. It doesn't matter. It's still bad. Like, well, how do you... I mean, it's just not natural to have smoke in your body and constantly.
Cartridges. Little did anyone know how deadly this would truly be. In April 2019, hospitals in Illinois and Wisconsin started seeing a surge of young, otherwise healthy patients admitted with severe lung injuries. These patients exhibited symptoms such as chest pain, nausea, and shortness of breath. Nobody knew what this was, but suddenly the cases were piling up. However, they all had one thing in common. They were vaping frequently. So the CDC began investigating this mysterious illness taking over America, and that was when they found that those using THC vape cartridges were having their health destroyed by this THC agent, vitamin E acetate. Later that year, it got so bad that there were 2,800 reported cases and 68 deaths linked to this, as they saw when vaporized this compound was causing severe respiratory issues, including lipoid pneumonia, a condition where fat particles enter the lungs.
Ooh.
And that was when Josh Temple would realize the gravity of this entire situation, quickly leaving Honeycutt Labs and changing the company's registered address and recalling all his products back, shutting down everything and leaving the company as soon as possible. But despite this, the authorities were after him, and Andrew Cuomo, the former governor of New York, would issue a subpoena for Honeycutt, demanding detailed information about the company's operations. And just like that, Josh Temple disappeared from the map. And there's very little information about what
Wow,
happened
he
next.
actually went
Nobody
off the
really
grid.
knows what happened, or if he ever faced any legal consequences for this. But it started to show the dangers of the incentivization of weaponizing people's addictions against them. And Josh's story is just the tip of a giant iceberg. The entire vaping industry strategy to capitalize on nicotine addiction reflects a broader trend in which companies across all sectors are exploiting addictive psychology to ensure customer loyalty. Because from a business perspective, having an addicted customer base is incredibly advantageous. And what's even better is an addictive population. As once you've made a population dependent on you, you make sure you always have money coming in every single month. This reduces customer acquisition costs and also increases lifetime customer value, making addiction a highly profitable strategy. And of course, like we've already mentioned, this is so prevalent in almost every industry, from vaping to gambling, social media, even hotels, everything. Every single brand is now doing this with points, rewards, offers, subscriptions, getting millions upon millions to unknowingly fall into the addiction economy that the Western system seemingly relies on today. And the more and more dependent the population becomes, the easier it is for these companies to raise prices continually, allowing the market to always squeeze you dry as all other alternatives get crushed by this. And if they're not economically destroying a population, they're also destroying them physically. For example, the food and drinks industry is estimated to be worth hundreds of billions of dollars in the US alone. While the provision of quality food in abundance throughout the years one of the biggest life-changing achievements of modern society, the most profitable side of the business has come recently, with the introduction of ultra-processed foods, which is pushing people to eat more and more and spend even more on food. Canned goods, packaged snacks, ready-to-eat meals, sugar-saturated cereals, GMO crops, Monsanto-owned seeds.
Okay, well, the GMO crops, by the way, I don't really know why people hate on them, to be honest. As far as I'm aware, from what I've learned at school at least, it's like GMO crops really don't harm people. They just, because all it is, I mean, editing the genetics, so I mean, the genes of the crops. So, from what I understand, it hurts the environment, but it doesn't hurt people. So I don't know why people hate them. I might be completely wrong on that, but that's what I understand.
The control of food by a handful of companies has made the entire world reliant on just a few name brands. With the convenience they provide and the addictive formulas they put in their food, it's become just a normal part of life that people eat slop on a daily basis. Slop with ingredients people don't even know, but the convenience, palatability, and shelf stability has...
Yeah, I mean, it's getting out of control, bro. Like, I feel like it's almost impossible to eat a healthy diet in America unless you are very, very conscious about what you eat. Like, you know, it's just like, even if you go out of your way to what you think is healthy, you're still going to find the most horrible stuff in your food because America is just full of crap. I don't even know how it's illegal. I mean, illegal. And I think the worst part about it, too, is like, the only way you're going to know about this is if you're literally going out of your way hours a day, like, researching, and then eventually you'll know what to buy. But if you don't do that, you're not going to fix the problem. Like, you're cooked. It's ridiculous. I feel like most people we're going to see a lot of people in the future with heart problems and, you know, what's it called? Digestive issues and whatnot. It's going to be horrible. And that includes me. I'm going to definitely have heart issues, but...
made this food cartel insanely powerful. And because they're so powerful, it's almost impossible for any researcher or scientist to get mainstream notice about the damage it's doing to the West. Time and time again, it's been shown that big food uses bogus science, pays off researchers, pays off the scientific community to lie about the dangers of foods, so that nobody's ever aware of how dangerous the addictive slop they're selling really is. Foods that contain a long list of additives, preservatives, flavorings, and other artificial...
like, for example, sugar. Everything has sugar in it. Like, things you don't even think has sugar. Like, you know, ranch has a ton of sugar. It's like, bro, how does ranch have sugar? right? Like you think of, when you think of ranch, like homemade ranch, do you think, oh, I'm adding sugar to it? No. So why the hell is containers of ranch having sugar in it? Like ketchup has sugar in it, bro. Like it's just absurd. Like everything has sugar in it, and it's so easy to get too much sugar. And it's true with other things too, like salt. It's like, bro, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Artificial ingredients to enhance taste, texture, and appearance. High in refined carbohydrates, added sugars, unhealthy fats, and sodium, while lacking all essential nutrients, fiber, and other beneficial compounds found in whole foods. And the more often we eat these foods, the more we expect all food to be blissfully delicious, and reject the plainier taste and texture of old-fashioned real food. The stuff that's been demonized by the corrupted scientific community who's paid off by these big food companies. Even Edward Bernays was infamous for using propaganda against Americans to convince them that having bacon every day in the morning was a healthy, iconic American thing to do, all for the benefit of a few giant corporations in America profiting from the fact. And if that was done almost 100 years ago, you can only imagine what they're doing today. I mean, almost everything in the shops these days is stuffed with ingredients that almost makes the food you're having completely unnatural. In fact, it's actually becoming harder and harder to eat healthy and just have food without all of these ingredients. And through trial and error, Big Food has discovered the ingredients that really appeal to us, the colors that strike out at kids. It's almost at a subconscious level at this point. They found that the right amount of emulsifiers produces an irresistible.
It just reminds me, like, candy is horrible. Candy is really, really bad for you, and the worst part is, like, it's so easy for me, and I imagine a lot of other people to just go through candy like it's nothing. And, like, bro, it just contains all types, like Skittles. I could go through many bags of Skittles easily, bro. And that's got, like, what was it, like, I don't remember what it had. It had something bad in there, some bad chemical that is in there. And, like, M&M's, for example, bro, they taste off. And, like, bro, I can down a whole bag of M&M's, they taste off. I'm still down in the bag, like, I don't know. It's just like, ugh. I mean, I don't know. And you hear the rumor with Hershey's, bro, like, oh, Hershey's apparently makes you like vomit if you've never had it before because it's different than all types of chocolate. It has like a weird. Like, apparently, people outside of like people from like Africa, for example, eating Hershey's for the first time will like taste vomit. I'm like, bro, what? I to be honest, I find Hershey's kind of eh. I used to love Hershey's, but like recently, it's like it just doesn't taste right. It doesn't even taste good. But obviously I'll still have it because it's chocolate, but like that's the problem. Like, bro, I know it's like bad, but I'm still gonna have it if it's offered to me.
Texture. They know that inverted fructose syrup really fires up the brain's sugar receptors. Modified food starch is used as a thickener, and hydrolyzed protein is used as a flavor enhancer, making it seem that having chocolatey protein bars or things like Huel is somehow actually healthy. And unfortunately, many of the ingredients used are no longer recognized by the body as food.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but protein powder to me seems suspicious because there's no way it's just protein in there. That's especially flavored protein, bro. Like, how are we getting flavored protein for like for example, one I have is like lemon cake or strawberry shortcake or strawberry cupcake. Like, how are you getting that? How and like, why would it be like, ooh, that sounds great? Okay, sure, it has protein. So what? If it has protein, bro, it doesn't mean it's great for you. And to be honest, a lot of times protein powder tastes horrendous anyways. I absolutely cannot stand protein powder. Like, for me, it's like I'll get a flavor like chocolate, and the first couple days will be like, it's pretty solid, and then after that, it's like, nope, I hate it. I hate it so much that I have to gulp it down and act like it's like the greatest thing in the world, even though it sucks.
Food. They are just chemicals that make us want to eat the product in which they've been put. So much of what we buy to eat is not necessary. It is just there to provide satisfaction and dopamine. Short bursts of it. Not long-term satisfaction of healthy living, but the short-term satisfaction of relieving an addiction. I mean, is it any wonder that people across the world are now starting to have the worst health in history? More and more people are obese.
Yeah, of course, he's shown like the complete outliers. I mean, obviously. Obviously, a lot of people have bad, but bro, they're not this bad.
Suffering from sicknesses, allergies,
I mean, this is just downright
food addiction.
I mean, these are just like outliers, and like this is not the average person.
And as a result,
like, bro, look at what he's eating. Look at what he's eating. Tell me that's a normal portion for anyone. No, most people are not eating that much. Like, that's like how many sausages, bro? Like 5 or 7. He's got multiple pieces of French toasts. He's got like a bunch of scrambled eggs and dude, like, bro, we're going crazy. He's got 3 drinks, I'm
to be made for a select handful of giant food companies. But nothing is more devastating or evil in the addiction economy as the pharmaceutical addiction sweeping the streets across the states. Criminal cartels and legalized pharmaceutical cartels are spreading debilitating substances into the hearts of communities across America. In 1996, Purdue Pharma introduced OxyContin, a long-acting formulation of oxycodone. And Purdue would market OxyContin aggressively as a breakthrough treatment for chronic pain, claiming that its extended-release formula reduced the risk of addiction and abuse.
Less than 1% of patients taking opioids actually become addicted.
However, Purdue did everything they could to downplay the risks of addiction and minimized all concerns about the potential for misuse, which, as you could guess, contributing to widespread overprescribing.
Okay, so yellow is 40 milligrams. Ooh.
Potential for misuse, which, as you could guess, contributing to widespread overprescribing and overuse of OxyContin. The widespread
no. You did not just wrong. Oh, no.
Availability of prescription.
That is crazy, bro. There's no way.
Prescription opioids like OxyContin.
Bro, you need to... I'm never taking a pill like that without water, bro. What? No. That's unacceptable.
Led to a surge in opioid prescription and misuse in the United States. Millions upon millions became unknowingly addicted to opioids after being prescribed them for legitimate medical reasons. And as this became more and more common, soon these opioids were being illicitly sold on the streets or through doctor shopping. It didn't take long for overdose deaths to skyrocket, leading to what is now recognized as the opioid epidemic. And you can see it on the streets. Poor homeless people freaking out on the streets. Quote-unquote zombies in places like Philadelphia and San Francisco. But the pharmaceutical companies, of course, made billions from this. But for an untold amount of patients, opioid treatment led to years of paying for a substance they didn't need and were addicted to. All the while, Big Pharma continued.
Now, I feel so bad for the people who their life was going great, they were raised in good life, and then they just took a drug at a party and now they're addicted and they're homeless. Like, everyone hates them, no one supports them, they're just on the streets, they're addicted to, well, who knows what, heroin, whatever it is, and their life is ruined. Like, imagine having a good life setup and it's, you choose to live your life in basically hell. Like, you chose the good stats and then you went from having the good stats and just got ravaged. I mean, that's basically what it is, and it's like, dude, it's just depressing to think about. Like, people are literally living the worst life just because of an addiction, and I'm not gonna blame the people for, you know, getting addicted. I mean, you shouldn't take drugs to begin with that you know are addictive or bad. But, you know, once you start it, I mean, I can't fully blame a man for, like, getting addicted to them, because that's not, like, yeah, you could fight it, but not everyone's strong enough to fight an addiction. I'm just gonna be honest. This is how it's true. It's just true. Like, not everyone's strong enough to fight an addiction. They might not be able to do it, especially if people don't support them. And I can imagine a lot of people didn't get support when they're trying to fight off their addictions. So, I mean, yeah.
Used to market their products by bribing healthcare providers with financial incentives, leading to a huge overprescription of drugs and long-term use of short-term drugs. And not content with making billions of dollars from the opioids themselves, Big Pharma then also capitalized on the opioid epidemic by profiting from the treatment and recovery industry, creating the problem and then selling the solution. Because the more addicted you are to their substances, the more money they make, which they can then use to lobby the government with for more control and power to push these addictions on the people. And it's not just opioids, Ritalin, Adderall, anything you can think of is being pushed on the American public to make them more addicted to these pills.
I don't like those shots. Okay, Joe Rogan.
Take over the marketplace. So originally Oxy was meant for people who were like terminally ill with cancer and were in severe pain, or somebody who's on the upper echelon of the pain threshold. And the goal of a company and a rep is to grow the market and to hit the number. And so when you go out, it's like, how do you grow the market? Well, we're going to grow the patient demographic. We're going to have to grow. We need the doctors to write more of this. So what they did with OxyContin was they went out and started. It got to a point where they were literally promoting it for people with migraines, and they were pumping these pain pills into all these practices.
And today, this whole process is accelerating in every industry. Everything from renting pods and never being able to afford property, to even delivery service subscriptions just to push your order ahead of others' orders.
Oh, that's
finding love has become a commodity. I mean, almost everyone is using dating apps these days to find someone. But the truth is, dating apps aren't really meant to actually work. If they work too quickly, they wouldn't make nearly as much money from the subscriptions.
Oh, people pay for... Oh, I did not know that. Oh, nah, I did not know you paid for... I thought they're free. Oh, nah. That's evil. Now, I think the best thing I've heard recently was that the people who use dating apps are down bad, or they're criminals. It's either one. So, you know, the people you're finding are desperate for someone, right? So the idea that, you know, the likelihood of finding someone who actually is going to be like for you is a lot less likely, because those people you're coming across are down tremendous to the point where they will settle down for, you know, a nice little fun night instead of actually, you know, settling. Well, you know, I'm going there. One of the problems with the modern day Western world is that it seems like nowadays, I don't know if it's true, but a lot of people seem to fantasize about, you know, one night stands over having a loyal girl, bro. I cannot be that. I could not do that. That's just weird. Like, it seems like it's normalized now to have sex, you know, over, you know, getting married and having kids and whatnot. It's always about, you know, having fun, you know, moving on to the next one if it's not good enough, right? It's not like commitment. There's no commitment, and it's like, it's actually become a problem. Now, yes, some of that is just social media garbage, you know, you're on the internet long enough, you see this and you think, oh, it's normal. So I don't know if it's 100% normal, but the point is, it seems like it's getting normalized. Do I know if it is? I really couldn't tell you. I'm not studying this stuff deeply, so who knows, but it just seems that way.
People would use them a few times, find someone meaningful, and then delete their account. Instead, these apps do everything to keep people on the apps for as long as possible, addicting you to their service. At first, they bombard people with attention to make them feel wanted, giving them a huge dopamine surge, putting them at the top of the algorithm to increase their chances. They'll show you all these beautiful people just waiting for you to have, but very quickly, they'll take away this honeymoon period, tightening the valve to make you purchase a subscription. It happens on every app, stringing you along with little dopamine bursts until they make you so desperate that you start spending money on the app itself, using your primal psychology to addict you to their services. All entertainment is the same thing. Nobody owns music, nobody owns movies anymore, it's all rented. And now even renting isn't enough. Even if you rent, you still have to watch forced ads and have to pay extra subscriptions to get away from these ads. And God knows what this is going to look like with the rise of AI. Only time will tell, but it is clear that every single thing is slowly being made into another facet of the addiction economy. And it's a horrible, worrying trend, because the longer this continues, the poorer the average person becomes, and the less sense of security you have in the world, because you don't own anything. And so the more aware we become of this coming trend, the more we can fight back against it.
Well, like I said, you can own things if you pirate. Well, I hate supporting the idea of piracy, but honestly, it's starting to look better and better. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just saying. The average person who has no morals, I mean, go for it. Go for it, honestly.
With our wallets and our voices.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good video. No one holds a legitimate conversation anymore either. It's embarrassing. Yeah, it's kind of true. Most people don't talk about serious issues anymore. It's just kind of like, oh, mess around, you know. Yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, that was a pretty good video. Definitely made some good points, and I mean, make sure to subscribe to this guy, 'cause